fine.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rochford District Council's remote meeting of the executive. Welcome to visiting members, and also welcome to anyone watching this via the live stream. If I can go to agenda item 1, which is apologies for absence. No apologies for absence have been received. And I think looking around, everyone is actually here. So thank you for that. Moving to agenda item number 2, non-members attending. Sonia, would you be kind enough to read out the names of any non-members attending?
We've got Councillor Dave Sperring, Councillor Julie Gooding and Councillor George Ioannou.
Thank you for that. Right, turning now to the minutes of the meeting of the 8th of July. And they have been circulated. Can I ask if those are agreed, please, members?
Agreed.
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 Thank you very much. Those minutes are agreed. Item number 4, which is to take declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest from members present? No, I think that's a nil return on that. Item number 5 is questions on notice from councillors, and no questions have been received, members. Which takes us to agenda item 6, matters referred to the executive and reports from other committees. There are none, members. On to agenda item 7, which is the Q1 2020-21 Financial Management and Performance Report. Councillor Simon Smith, portfolio holder for finance, will now introduce the report. Councillor Smith.
Thank you very much, Chairman. A bit more detail from me this time, and as you might expect, I think drama is the wrong word, but this is the quarter representing April, May and June, the quarter which does reflect lockdown. So the purpose of the report is to set out the forecast revenue and capital budget positions as of the end of Q1 2021. The latest revenue budget for 2021 is 10.38 million. Changes to the original budget are due to drawdowns from reserves, which are detailed in Appendix 1. The forecast outrun as at Q1 is 10.46 million, which gives a small projected overspend of £83,000. This assumes full application of the council's COVID grant allocation of just over 1 million, but does not yet assume any additional payments for loss of income under the government's recently announced scheme. The COVID-19 pandemic is expected to have a significant impact on the council's financial position, both in 2021 and in future years, although the full impact is not yet clear, and it will depend on how the wider economy recovers. The council is currently incurring additional unplanned expenditure in a number of areas, such as support for our leisure services, provision for homeless services, and increased litter collection. It also expects to face losses across most income lines, but notably car parking. The projections within the report are based on assumptions which have a high degree of uncertainty, and therefore will be subject to close monitoring and refinement over the course of the financial year. The council has so far received 1.011 million of unring-fenced grant from central government to contribute towards COVID-19 related pressures. It's required to report monthly on its expected financial pressures relating to the pandemic, and these returns have been shared with members. Central government have also announced a scheme to reimburse local authorities for an element of its lost income. Details of the scheme were released after this report was published, so it's not reflected in the financial position that we're presenting at Q1. But a claim will be made in September and the first payment is expected in October. So it's effectively more of that later. The council will seek to mitigate any remaining overspends through in-year savings as far as possible, but we have reserves to draw down in the last resort. No longer-term COVID-related funding beyond 2021 has yet been announced, but there is the strong possibility that some loss of income and cost pressures could be experienced and felt into the year 2020, into the year 21, 22 and beyond. But it is difficult to have any projection on those at this moment in time. The position will continue to be closely monitored over the financial year, with assumptions being updated for budget setting as appropriate. The council is likely to have to make some difficult decisions to ensure its financial sustainability in the medium term, unless significant additional ongoing resources are agreed for local authorities in the budget settlement, which is expected to be announced following the comprehensive spending review in the late autumn. But of course, as a council, we do know that we don't stand alone in the position we find ourselves in. The forecasted outrun of the council's capital programme as of Q1 is 1.923 million. The table at Appendix 3 summarises the projected position by service areas. The major items with slippage against the 2021 budget are the Play Spaces programme, which was impacted by the COVID pandemic, and the Asset Delivery programme, where works are now likely to be commenced in 21-22, in line with the final business case agreed by council. In addition, COVID-19 has delayed some works funded by the Disabled Facilities Grant in the first quarter. The department are reviewing the policy to enable additional households to benefit from the grant, in line with the Essex-wide DFG, Disabled Facilities Grant Group, and government practice. So I'm asking the executive to recommend to full council the reprofiling of 2.67 of the 2021 capital budget into future years, as is set out in Appendix 3, and to note the report. If members have any questions of detail, we have Naomi Lucas, our Section 151 officer, on hand to assist. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. And do we have any questions, please? I'm not seeing any hands at the moment. If there's no questions, can I just add that in this extraordinary year, can I just add my thanks to certainly you as portfolio holder, Councillor Smith, but principally also our officers who are managing our finances extremely effectively through this, as I say, extraordinary time. But if there's no questions, I will go to the two recommendations, and there are at paragraph 1 2 recommendations. The first one is to note the Q1 2020-21 revenue budget and capital position set out in sections 3 and 4 and detailed in appendices 1 to 4. And can I take that as being noted?
Noted.
Noted.
Thank you. Moving on to the recommendation 2, and that is to recommend to council the reprofiling of 2.67 million on the planned 2020-21 capital programme into future years as set out in Appendix 3. And because this is a recommendation, we need to do a vote, which will be done by a roll call of names. When Sonia calls out your name, please indicate if you wish to have a recorded vote, and then whether you are voting for or against the recommendation, or if you wish to abstain. Sonia.
Thank you. Councillor FD.
No recorded votes and for the recommendation. Thank you, Sonia.
Councillor Mrs Rowe.
Thank you, Sonia. No and for, please.
Councillor Smith.
Thank you. No recorded vote for the recommendation.
Councillor Ward,
No and 4, Sonia.
Councillor Webb,
Thank you, Sonia. No and 4, please.
Councillor Williams,
It's no and 4. Thank you, Sonia.
and Councillor Wotton.
Thank you, Sonia. No and 4. And I
Thank
think that is a unanimous agreement.
Thank you, members.
Okay, we move now to agenda item 8, and for that item, you will see that that is in the P&C section. So we will need to exclude members of the public and the press. Members, the following 2 items on the agenda contain exempt information. I will now move a recommendation that under section 100A, in brackets 4 of the Local Government Act 1972, the public be excluded from the meeting for the following item of business on the grounds that it involves the likely disclosure of exempt information as defined in paragraph 3 of part 1 of schedule 12A of the Act. Do I have a seconder for that? I'll take Councillor Ian Ward. Is that agreed, members?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Agreed. So there will now be a slight pause while we switch off the live streaming, which Sonia already has